Paul makes a statement in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 in verse 12. He says this, "So then, death worketh in us, but life in you." In order for us to ever be advantageous to somebody, to help them, to be a blessing, we have to die in order that they might live. Things must die that we must live physically. At the same time, if the work of God is going to live, we've got to die. If I as an individual want to help somebody, I've got to die that they might live. Now, I'm not talking about necessarily the living as a physical life, but I'm talking about the life, maybe the life of the ministry. I've got to die that the ministry might live. If I die and I crucify certain elements of my life, I'll be able to go to the mission field, and I'll be able to preach, and I'll be able to do what God would have me to do, that those people now will have a church, a ministry, and a place to bring their family. So I must die that they might live. And this is what Paul is telling the church at Corinth. That I die daily, that I must die that you might live. You know what happens when we think about ourselves, we kill the work of God. I think about my lust, I think about my desire, I think about what I want, the work will die. And that's what happens. What could have been? What could have been if God's people would understand and realize that we've got to die in order for the work to live? What could have been if God's people would stop living for themselves and start living for the cause? But if we would die, others might live. If we will submit ourselves and do what is right, crucify certain elements about us, put it to death, mortify ourselves, put ourselves to death, that others might live. And the only way that a ministry can survive is that people die. People must die in order for ministries to live. Paul told the church at Corinth, he said, "So then death worketh in us, but life in you." So Paul knew what it was like, and he preached about it. He preached about dying. He preached about himself dying daily. And what I'm talking about putting to death is the old man. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin. For he that is dead is free from sin. For he that is dead, the he here is the old man. When the old man is dead, you are free from sin. You know why the ministry is not what it could have been? You look at the people that have left the ministry. You look at people that have left church. What could have been if God's people would die to sin? What could have been in the work here at Shiloh? What could have been? How much we could have done for God? What could have been if God's people would learn to put the old man down? But if we don't put the old man down, we will obey the lust of our flesh, and everyone suffers. And Paul said, "I die daily that you might live." You understand what Paul's saying? I die daily that you might have a church. I die daily that you might have sermons. I die daily that you might have missionaries. I die daily that your family might hear and know how to be saved. I die daily that I could pray for you. I die daily. In other words, I crucify my lust and flesh. Why do we do what we do? Why do we live in sin? Why do we get involved in immorality? It's all because of the old man. And because we do that, it affects the ministry. It affects your involvement. It affects what you can do. But we just don't get it. Others die because of our selfish behavior. Because somebody brought the old man to church. They brought the old man. They brought their affections and they brought their lust, what they've been involved in the previous day, what they were involved in the previous week, what they've been involved in the previous year. God knows. And they come, they sit and act as though everything is okay. And then others will pray, they'll fast, and they'll say, "Lord, I have great fellowship with you on a personal one-on-one basis. But Lord, when I go to the meeting house and we assemble together as a habitation of God through the Spirit, God, where are you? You're not, I don't feel your presence. Lord, what is the matter?" Listen, it is not fair. You want Shiloh Church to be alive? I mean, be a lively church on fire for God. You want the camp meeting to be alive? Well, you've got to die then. You can't have it both ways. You can't go out and live in the sins of the world and come in and say, "Boy, what a great church service." It doesn't work that way. You can't have it both ways. And what is the old man? All he is nothing but affections and lust. That's what the old man is. That has got to die in order for the ministry to live. That's got to die in order for the camp meeting to be alive. That's got to die in order for messages to be alive. That's got to die. The old man must die in order for ministries to live. But if you want the old man to live, the ministry must die. So death always will produce the life. Pick up your cross. He's saying, crucify your selfish desires. Focus on me. Follow me. Trust my character. I will bless you. You will not go without, but you must crucify, put to death your desire, what you want. Follow me. And you do that, others will live. Don't you live because Christ died? See, when we get to the point where we die to our lust, others might live. And that's what Paul is saying.